tonight.
Right now at 11, severe weather threats, strong tornadoes and damaging winds, all possible in the coming days.
I'll have the latest timing coming up in that first warn forecast.
Plus vaccine expansion. A local pharmacy wants to provide the life-saving medicine and wants to do it fast.
And travel in the COVID era. You could soon need a vaccine passport. We'll take a close look at what this could mean for your family. And later, our Verify team tackles spring allergies. Medical experts answer if your COVID mask will stop the sniffles. It's Tuesday, March 16th. WCNC Charlotte News at 11 starts right now. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Sarah French.
And I'm Fred Shropshire. We begin with the forecast. It is a cold and wet night in the Charlotte area. Here is a live look at uptown from our view camera. Tomorrow's expected to be chilly and overcast again, but the real threat is Thursday. Take a look at this map. In red is a high chance for severe storms, and we could even see tornadoes. Brad, what's the timing on those storms?
It still looks like the middle of the day into the afternoon, but that's still uncertain. Here we are 48 hours out, and the exact timing is still kind of up in the air as far as the hours, but it looks like the middle of the day is going to be the timing right now, and this is why we're going to watch over the next 24 hours as the timing of the system becomes a little clearer. Tonight we've got the showers and thunderstorms down over parts of South Carolina. The reason the timing is still unclear is the system is just now developing here over the Four Corners and heading into the Texas and Oklahoma panhandle. So as this system organizes and pushes to the east, you can see the storms developing right now over western Oklahoma and the panhandle of Texas. This will push to the east, and we'll have a good idea on the timing as we get through the day tomorrow. You see the risk tonight into the overnight hours, but then tomorrow we're likely going to see a very widespread severe thunderstorm and tornado outbreak for parts of the Mid-South and the Deep South. This actually could be upgraded to an extreme threat during the overnight update, and then that threat will shift into the Carolinas on Thursday. Now, this threat goes from 7 a.m. Thursday morning to 7 a.m. Friday morning. That's why that risk is there. Now, remember, we're just in the outlook stage right now for a heads up for severe weather. As we get closer, we could see a watch issued as we go into Thursday afternoon, and eventually maybe some warnings. Coming up, we'll talk about some of the impacts and the possible setup for isolated tornadoes coming up in that Thursday forecast.
All right, Brad, and when severe weather hits, make sure you have the WCNC mobile app. You'll find live Doppler radar and any urgent warnings in your area. It's a free download in the App Store.
New tonight, an adult and two children are dead from a crash in York County. It happened just before 4:30 on Highway 5 near Park Place Road. That's just east of York. Highway Patrol says the driver of a Jaguar lost control and went over the center line and hit another vehicle. The Jag driver and two child passengers were killed. The driver of the other vehicle has injuries and was taken to the hospital. Two children rescued from a fire at a second-story apartment this evening. It happened just after 6:30 on Rosethorn Place in southwest Charlotte. 8 people were evaluated for minor injuries in total. Firefighters on the scene wanted to thank the children for their quick action when they first smelled the smoke.
Our communication department received the call via a child that was inside the apartment. There were 2 children inside the apartment. The child stayed on the phone with our dispatchers, gave instructions to where they were on the second floor, and upon our arrival, the older child allowed for her brother to come down the ladder first by making sure, and she also shut the doors to keep the smoke and any harmful substance from getting to where they were.
The cause of the fire is unknown and under investigation tonight.
Mecklenburg County health leaders updating their COVID-19 response tonight. The good news, case numbers, positivity rates, and hospitalizations are all down and heading in the right direction.
The current executive order expires at the end of the month. So I would not be surprised if our numbers continue to go in the right direction if we don't see some more opening up from the governor.
One other encouraging piece of news, Health Director Gibby Harris says she supports parents putting their kids in summer camps in the coming months. And with COVID vaccinations picking up across the Carolinas, pharmacies are eager to get doses too. They want to give people more options for getting a shot, and it could be closer to your neighborhood. WCNC Charlotte's Hunter Sines spoke with a local pharmacy group who is more than willing to help.
Pharmacies across the Carolinas are used to filling prescriptions, but they have also been responding to the COVID-19 pandemic, and now many of them are waiting their turn to get their hands on the vaccine.
From bottling pills
to testing for COVID, customers can nearly get it all at Carolina Pharmacy.
It's been busy.
One thing that's missing, though, is a COVID vaccine. For now.
A lot more people are using pharmacies more than before, obviously because of COVID.
The company, which has pharmacies across the Carolinas, is already preparing for the day they'll get them.
Getting the process started kind of helped the community kind of get back to its, normalcy.
Supply hasn't kept up with demand. According to the CDC, only 11.9% of North Carolina's population is fully vaccinated. But as supply goes up and when they get them, Carolina Pharmacy is hopeful to give out a couple hundred vaccines at a time.
Just being able to get our patients taken care of and the community taken care of in a much more, much more orderly way.
Mecklenburg County Health Department has already given 4 different pharmacies Pfizer or Moderna vaccines in an effort to expand distribution while boosting trust in underserved communities. Carolina Pharmacy is ready for the call.
Giving more options to go to.
A vaccine rollout forcing pharmacies to wait for their spot to get the shot. Carolina Pharmacy says their paperwork is in to get these vaccines. Now they're just playing the waiting game. In Charlotte, Hunter Signs, WCNC Charlotte.
Tomorrow, 2.9 million more people in North Carolina will become eligible to get the COVID vaccine. The majority of them are people with certain underlying health conditions like asthma, cancer, and diabetes. They're at higher risk of having severe complications from the virus, so a lot of them are desperate for the shot.
There's already a natural mental burden, I think, on folks with diabetes, just due to the nature of a lot of decisions that we have to make during the day on managing our blood sugars. And then you add COVID on top of that, and I think it's caused even more stress.
Right now, appointments are being scheduled out well into April with significant wait list times. Health leaders say patience is key, and also make sure to cancel any appointments you may no longer need because no-show rates continue to go up. Could you soon have to prove that you've gotten a COVID vaccine to travel out of the country? Vaccine IDs have already been used in other parts of the world, but now there's talk about how that could or could not work right here in the United States. WCNC Charlotte's Brianna Harper spoke to an expert about the possibility of a vaccine passport and the hesitations the World Health Organization has about it.
When catching flights outside the country, a passport is always required. But would you still be willing to travel if you had to show proof of having the COVID-19 vaccine, too? Flights are taking off, and so is travel as more and more people get the COVID-19 vaccine. But after the shot, what's next? Some say a universal vaccine ID should be developed.
A verification that you've had both of your COVID-19 shots.
In China, they've already created a COVID-19 vaccination certificate that's required for its citizens in the case of cross-border travel. And in Israel, there's the Green Passport. That's an app connected to a database listing everyone who's vaccinated.
The Green Passport is being used for things like going to the gym or going to a restaurant or a public meeting, places where other people are congregating.
Even now, some in the U.S. are laminating their vaccine cards as proof. But experts say that doesn't automatically make it 100% valid.
You can go online right now and you can buy the CDC vaccination card for $20 and fill it out yourself. The problem is that that card is not a secure document.
There's been some privacy concerns, too, about if a nationalized database was created, including your personal information, and also if requiring proof of the COVID-19 vaccine in order to travel or even participate in everyday activities would create even more inequalities. Leaders of the World Health Organization expressed their hesitation.
We need vaccination policies that don't create in themselves inequity, and we need to be very, very careful that the process of certifying vaccination does not result in personal freedoms or human rights being impeded.
Keep in mind, if you are traveling internationally from the U.S., it is still required proof of a negative COVID test in order to re-enter back into the country. But of course, if a vaccine passport does become a reality, the chances are you would be able to possibly skip that step. Reporting from Charlotte Airport, Brianna Harper, WCNC, Charlotte.
Atrium Health is staging a mass COVID vaccine clinic at Charlotte Douglas Airport starting tomorrow. It's for airport employees and other transportation workers. The clinic will vaccinate thousands of people over 2 days from 11:30 a.m. through 7 p.m. All the appointments have been filled. And if you have any questions about where to go to get vaccinated in your county, you can reach out to us by texting the word vaccine, the number 704-329-3600, or respond with some links that'll help you.
School districts across our area are continuing to transition back to full in-person learning. Starting next month, Gaston County students will be back in classrooms 4 days a week. Elementary students are already back in person, so the change is for middle and high school students starting April 12th. Masks are required, but social distancing may be hard to maintain. The superintendent says some high schools will have 30 students to a classroom.
So what will it mean is that this yellow tape that you see will disappear, and these classrooms will now be full of students.
Just like the elementary schools, middle and high school students will eat at their desks. All lunches will be pre-packaged, and there will be no assemblies. The superintendent also has the power to close individual classrooms in schools with large COVID exposure. New tonight, 8 people are dead in shootings at 3 North Georgia spas, and a suspect is now in custody. Police in Atlanta say 4 people were killed at 2 spas across the street from one another. Authorities say 4 others were killed in a spa north of the city. They don't know yet if the shootings are related. The suspect is 21-year-old Robert Long. This story is developing, of course, and we'll bring you updates when we learn more.
And now to the Capitol. A new report reveals foreign countries actively tried to disrupt the 2020 U.S. presidential election. This comes from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. It found Russia, Iran, and others tried to influence the outcome in favor of President Donald Trump. But unlike 2016, the report didn't find persistent Russian cyber efforts to gain access to election infrastructure. The intelligence community also assesses that China took a look but decided in the end not to conduct any interference in the 2020 election. 2 more South Carolina men are facing federal charges related to the January 6th Capitol riot. One is from Fort Mill and the other from Rock Hill. The 2 men are seen on security footage climbing through a broken window into the Capitol building. One is seen in several photos with a metal pipe in his hand. People who know the men have identified them as cadets in the Civil Air Patrol Unit.
Coming up, animal activists demanding answers to a viral video allegedly showing an officer choking, slamming, and punching a dog. The controversy tonight in our own backyard.
Plus, could wearing a mask protect you from spring allergies? Well, we are getting the answer from the experts.
And severe storms already developing in the central and southern plains. Coming up, I'll show you the timing as this system heads our way, coming up in your midweek forecast.